What's going on, guys, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. I'm getting my sick beats down with this directed traffic joker. Today we are getting into a little bit of trouble. We are showing y'all how to get the best yields on your field in American farming and teaching you everything you need to know about all the different yield benefits you get from each different type of equipment. So ladies and gentlemen, if y'all like this type of content, want to see more like it, please do a like, subscribe. You're doing what you do best. Thank y'all so very much. And of course, the first thing we are going to get ourselves in trouble with today is primary tillage. This right here is a Landau primary tillage. We'll go ahead and take a little bit of a look onto the details. But before we do that, let's just kind of put her down. She doesn't do the most width in the world, but she does a pretty decent job. And you can see firsthand that there is a little bit of difference between primary tillage and second tillage. So this right here is a primary tillage. You cannot plant directly on top of that. You do have to do second tillage if you do your primary tillage. But let's go ahead and get into the yield benefits of primary tillage compared to everything else. Yield bonuses, ladies and gentlemen. If you do a primary tillage, you get 10%, and of course if you do secondary tillage, you get 5%. Now if you do no tillage at all, you get negative 5%. There's no zero mark for it, so you either get negative or plus 5% or plus 15, which is a lot better to go with. It does affect your crop in a little bit different ways, and it does help you out a lot. Make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck. So I made a mistake earlier. This is not a Landau. This is a DMI Tiger 2, which requires 180 horsepower, goes 6 miles an hour, has a price tag of $500,000, which all in all isn't the worst price in the world for this piece of tillage. Should be able to make you a nice little bit of money if you buy this as your first one. It is definitely the most cheapest primary tillage, but you do need to make sure you do upgrade your tractors from the starting ones. And then of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to really upgrade your system, this right here is definitely the best piece of equipment. It does have a 2-stage where you do have to fold and unfold it. Of course, you can see, drop that there for a second so I can drive back over here. It's a good little bit different. Like as you can see right here, pretty much allows you to see that it's not hugely bigger, but it does do a little bit better of a job. On into the important information. This is the 11 shank Case IH EcoTill. Requires 385 horsepower, goes 6 miles an hour with a price tag of $142,000. And by the way, this is the biggest piece that you can get for this size. Of course, you have the other one that's DLC. We'll be going over the DLC pack in a little bit as its own entity. Now, of course, getting on into your secondary tillage, this is how you do it. You hit the unfold button there. Of course, lower it down to the ground, and there you go. You start your secondary tillage. You do have to do secondary tillage over your primary tillage for you to get the best yield benefits or to be able to plant at all. You cannot plant on just primary tillage, and I can't stress that enough to everybody because that is very important information to know for the future. But let's go ahead and get on to the information about this Case IH secondary piece of tillage. Now, this is the base game one. This is the Case IH 490. It requires 120 horsepower, goes 10 miles an hour with a price tag of $14,500. Now, you get this on no matter what farm you start on, unless you want to just get two to really ramp up your production a little bit. That is your best bet to go ahead and get it. I would just leave what you got and upgrade to something better in the future. Now, of course, with secondary tillage, you immediately get a huge upgrade, which I believe is double the size of the first one you get access to. You can go ahead and head right here, lay it down, and go ahead and start cultivating. It does cultivate, as you can see, like crops into the ground. So does primary tillage. You don't have to worry about any of that, but you can kind of get your tillage done right here and all in one good swoop. And it's a really good banger for your money. Let's go ahead and get on into the important information. This Case IH cultivator is 42 foot wide, requires 300 horsepower, goes 10 miles an hour with a price tag of $140,000. Huge cultivator with a really decent sized price tag. And of course, we're sitting here with the smallest Landau for cultivation you have. You'll go ahead and put this down into the ground and hit go. This does go 14 miles an hour, which I believe this is the fastest one that is not DLC, but I could be wrong. So I'll take a look at it. This is a vertical disc tool, so you do need to know that information before using it. But of course, vertical disc tool does the exact same job as secondary tillage because that's what it is. Let's go ahead and get into the information you need to know about it. Now, if you're looking to upgrade your secondary tillage, this is not a bad option. This is personally one of my favorites. The 32 foot Landau vertical tillage, which requires 320 horsepower, goes 14 miles an hour, has a price tag of $138,500. Now, getting on into the biggest piece of tillage that you have available, this is the Landau secondary tillage. We'll go ahead and unfold it here, show you how massive this thing is. If you want to get a field done by yesterday, this is your piece of equipment for you. As you see, it just wipes out the corn corn. It'll wipe out the beans just as fast. It is really, in my opinion, a really good piece of equipment, and it does this job no matter what you put at it and face it with. Now, of course, this piece of equipment is 50 foot, and alongside that, this is the Landau Field Cultivator. Requires 350 horsepower, goes 10 miles an hour, with the most expensive price tag of $178,000. If you want to pick this up, I recommend it if you're wanting just to go humongous like I am, but do take your time getting there, because this will take a lot of resources to be able to pull it. And ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give y'all a quick little show y'all what this is. Now, every mother pen, no matter if it's the pig mother pen, the cow's mother pen, they all have solid manure. The actual other pens do not. So we're just kind of showing y'all that, so y'all do know that these do have your solid manures that you will be end up using for these next two pieces of equipment. Now, this right here is a very important piece of equipment. This is your manure spreaders, which it does something unique, and this is only what manure spreaders and slurry injectors do. It puts down both of your nitrogen and your NPK down, which we'll explain a little bit more about that and what it does here in a second. And so to simply turn this on, all you gotta do is raise it and just drive. Now, one big thing about this is, please, if you're going to spread a field, make sure you have a lot of manure, because it does go fast. If you're using an AI worker as well, keep a really good solid watch on the AI worker to make sure he doesn't go past. Sadly, the AI workers do not stop when they run out. To my knowledge, I've seen a lot of people complain about that. I don't know. I really don't play with this a whole lot. Do that information as you must. I may be wrong, and I really could be definitely wrong. They do stop, but from what I've been told, they have not. But let's get on into the information about this. Now, of course, you do start with this manure spreader when you choose the cattle farm, so do keep that in mind. Now, this right here is the manure spreader from H&S. It requires 120 horsepower, goes 10 miles an hour, holds 23,000 pounds, has a price tag of $29,500. Now, the next one, it's the exact same process as the other one, so I'm gonna try to pick up the pace of the video a little bit. This is, of course, your bigger manure spreader. This is the only other manure spreader that's out there. If you want to get a lot more work done, it holds a lot more, I recommend this. Now, this right here requires 140 horsepower, goes 10 miles an hour, and holds 54,000 pounds with a grand total of $61,000 as a price tag. So really good bang for your buck. I'd really recommend this one. I use this one more than the other one. Now, this is the Balzer ejectors. I do not have a pig farm on here that's ready to go. I tried getting all that set up, but then work got past me, so I can't lie to you guys. So this right here is simply, you just lower it down into the ground. Any of the pig stalls you'll go to, you'll fill it up there. It's as simple as that, and it requires 200 horsepower, goes 6 miles an hour, and holds 7,650 gallons with a price tag of $175,000. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot do this next session without at least going over this again. The nitrogen and NPK. This is what you'll use to kind of gauge like what kind of yield you'll get. So, of course, with corn, if you apply nitrogen, you'll get 50%. Soybeans, if you apply nitrogen, you'll get 0% extra. It does stay down though. And with wheat, if you apply nitrogen, you will get another 50%. So just keep those two in mind. NPK is 25 across the board, but NPK does stay down for 2 years instead of just one, so you won't have to apply every other year. Now, of course, this is where you'll be buying your nitrogen or NPK, or you can go to the map here. You can see locations. This up here, this other little co-op area. This little co-op in Bell Place, which is number 10 up here. Same as down here. This is where, of course, you'll find this over there to the side. And what you do is you'll hit this. This is by far the easiest way to put down NPK and nitrogen and not have to worry about multiple pieces of equipment. So you have your nitrogen here and your PNK. These two right here are pretty much what you're going to be putting down. Your nitrogen is 15 cents a pound, and then of course your NPK is 39 cents a pound. You'll just go ahead and buy that. You'll let it sit here and fill up, and once it's full to where you want it, you just drive away simply, and it ends that. And to simply just turn it on, you'll just do that. Has a really good size width. I do recommend this. You do of course get this piece of equipment when you use the pig farm, so it's a really easy way to use it. Now, if you're using the cattle farm, I recommend this being your first purchase no matter what you do. Which, of course, getting into that right here, this is the fertilizer wagon. It has a 50-foot spread. On top of that, it requires 30 horsepower, goes 10 miles an hour, holds 12,000 pounds with a price tag of $12,500. Now, let me confront this real fast just so everybody does know. If you see any lag, if you've seen any lag, I'm just going to tell you the truth. Most of that lag is coming from my Elgato capture card. That is not the game itself. myself lagging, it is my Elgato capture card. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is where you buy your N and H3. You'll simply tap that right there. Go ahead and buy it. I believe this is your MPK. I don't know. We'll take a look at it. So all you have to do is simply unfold it. There you go. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is a really good one. By far, this is the most popular one. People always want to talk about. Fun little facts about this is when this is in the ground, this counts as secondary tillage. So technically, you only need this right here, and of course, your good old-fashioned primary tillage, so you can get rid of your secondary tillage and make this your secondary tillage. Never mind, that is your nitrogen, so it is putting down nitrogen, is not putting down both. That is good information, so I made a mistake there. This is your nitrogen, of course. Now, getting on down to the important information, this is the applicator itself. You have to buy 2 parts of it. Requires 380 horsepower, goes 6 miles an hour with a price tag of $105,000. Also, you can upgrade this one as well to a 62-foot, which has a requirement of 500 horsepower, goes 6 miles an hour, and has a bigger price tag of $136,000. And of course, your twin tank, simple as could be, holds 2,000 gallons and has a price tag of $33,700. Now, if you want to get all your nitrogen done and in a hurry, look no further than the Case IH Patriot. All you gotta do is simply unfold it, turn it on, it will lower down to the ground, and you can go up to 30 miles an hour with this thing. You talking about this thing will get it done and in a hurry. This is your piece of equipment. By far, this is the most expensive way to do your fertilization of your nitrogen, but it is so worth it with how big of a boom width it has. It has 125 boom width, goes, of course, normal tires, and you do have upgrade tires for an extra $4,000. Of course, starting with a standard, you have 335 horsepower on it, holds 140 gallons of diesel, goes 30 miles an hour, and it holds 1,600 gallons with a grand total of $608,000, the biggest price tag of everything we've looked at today. Now, of course, let's go ahead and look into these equipment right here. This is, of course, all your DLC equipment. So everything right here is part of the big equipment pack. We'll start with the Case IH Speed Till. This is your speed disc right here. It is 31 foot long. It's from Case IH, and it goes 14 miles an hour with a requirement of 350 horsepower with a price tag of $137,000. Moving on to the biggest primary tillage, which this is your biggest piece of equipment for primary tillage, which is your 13 shank Landau disc gripper. It has a requirement of 455 horsepower, goes 6 miles an hour with a grand total of $197,000. Then moving on over to this right here, this is your Underfirth Neutral Max. Of course, this right here starts with a 60-foot boom. Go ahead off these information. You can change it from red to green as you wish for zero cost, which has a requirement of 260 horsepower, goes 10 miles an hour, holds 2,600 gallons with a price tag of $165,000. You can upgrade the tracks. You want tracks on it, which does add a hefty price tag to it. So do as that with the information you wish. Now, moving on to your big hitters of this. Now, this puts down your solid fertilization. These are really worth the entire pack to me. This is your Case Titan 4-wheel. Has a 60-foot boom, has 410 horsepower, holds 150 gallons of diesel, goes 25 miles an hour with 18,000 pounds of fertilizations that you choose with a price tag of $403,000. And of course, riding everything out with your Case IH Titan 3-wheel. This is your cheaper one out of the 2 options, and out of these big ones, I recommend this one the most. Has 410 horsepower, 150 gallons, goes 25 miles an hour, and with a cheaper price tag of $358,000. It is as close as you can get to half the price of the Case Patriot, and it does the same job, if not more, like it does. Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for today. I do appreciate y'all all so very much. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, all the information we're giving you here is just everything you need to know about your yield bonuses. I appreciate y'all so very much. For me, the entire team, we'll see you next time. Peace!